Ada is here to tell us about her experience at, well, Rugby High. She's just been there for a few weeks now, and she was in your shoes this time last year. So you'll need to get tips from her on what to expect, what not to expect from the 11 plus exam. What are the tips you can use to get into a grammar school? Because that's what everyone here wants to get into, or that's where everyone wants to get into. So I'm recording this so that others who are not here today can also gain from you, Ada. So thank you very much, Ada, for honoring our invitation. And we have Tommy, Zion, Ruth. We also have Olivia and Tenny, who are not here at the moment. Yeah, the stage is yours.
Hey, my name's Ada, and I attend Rugby High School. So basically, I don't know how to describe it. School is an amazing place. It's a very, obviously an educational place as it's a secondary school, but it's also very warm and friendly. And the first day that I came there, despite the fact that because I had taken the bus but it didn't arrive, so I had to take an Uber to get there. But even when I came, I could instantly tell this was going to be a good and a really great place. Tips that I would give for 11 plus, honestly, I find that studying and relaxing. Because as well as studying, which I would recommend doing a lot of, but along with studying, it's also good to relax, because it's not like you're going to wake up, do whatever you need to do, and then just study for the rest of the day and then night. You're going to have to also relax and have time where you can just breathe and basically do other things I want to do, but also remember that you've also got to study and do other things as well as that. For me, I found it very useful to do both of that. It seems scary, but then when you actually get into the habit of studying, relaxing, and just I find doing a schedule is very good to do, because not only will it help you keep organized, it will also get you into a habit of doing it, so that, let's say one thing happened to have changed, you will instantly the next day be able to get back into it without any hindrance. So 11 plus, the exam hall isn't too scary, I guess. I mean, it's just a normal exam hall. There's nothing too extraordinary about it. Honestly, when I came there, I felt a bit worried at first, because obviously this test, it's not a very big test, but it's it will determine which secondary school you go to, which is also very big, as it basically leads to how well you do in your GCSEs and other stuff. So obviously I was feeling worried and stuff, but I think feeling worried is a natural thing and it's a good thing. Because I'm not saying if you're not feeling worried, you'll not pass the exam or anything. I'm just saying that if you're not feeling worried, it's kind of like saying you feel like you know you're going to pass it. And I'm not saying you're not, but it's kind of a too fast of an assumption to start things off. So coming there, it felt scary at first a bit. I think basically saying it seemed scary at first. Then when you get into the hall, you feel like you know what you're doing, and as long as you give it all you got, I think that's the best thing to say out of all of this. Because as long as you know you've tried, and as long as because knowing you've tried is a good thing, but knowing that you've tried with all of your heart and all your determination is even a better thing, as doing that will most likely get you into the school that you want to get into.
Okay, so if you've got any questions for her, begin to think about a question you would want to ask her, ask Ada, so that she can, maybe if you've got questions about what to expect, how long did any test take, or how long did she need to study, or what resources did she use to study, this is the time to ask her. Bestley, do you want to say anything to us? What are you doing to prepare for your 11 plus? Because these are your mates here who are doing 11 plus in the next couple of weeks, just like you. Is there anything extra you are doing?
To me right now, because it's going to be like in a few more months, the only thing I'm doing is going through all the things I know, and all the things I could learn. So I made myself a schedule, so that if I don't get all the stuff done in that day, I know that I've got to do all the next day. Okay. And then also I also try to learn more than one thing new a day.
So how do
then after I'll be learning at least.
Okay, so where do you get your learning from? How do you get to learn something new every day? What resources do you use?
Usually I get it from Math Tech. It's this YouTube person that does videos like how to do quicker times tables in your head, like with 3-digit numbers, how to do them quicker, or how to do different things. So then after I'll be more ready. So then after I won't be wasting too much time on those easy questions. I can go on to like the reasoning where I have problem with.
Good. Thank you very much.
Okay,
thank you. Thank you, Bestley.
How long did the entire testament take?
So I remember it taking about maybe an hour, maybe 2 to 3 hours, and we had 2 breaks in between. One after, because we had quite a few sections of it, so we couldn't just do it all in one time. And since it had like several sections, it had a few breaks between each of them, which was very good, as it was able to make us relax a bit more and just not cope, but understand what we're going through, and just to calm down a bit. Because it was evident, because my friends were also doing it. It was evident for them that they were also worried. So having this break and being able to talk to each other was a good thing, as it just calmed us down and shared all our worries and stuff. And it was very useful. And so I think 2 to 3 hours was about how long it was. Honestly, I don't remember exactly, but I know it was around that time. Any more questions?
Okay, thank you. I think Tommy has a question.
What kind of like resources do you use, like any online sites?
Okay, so I used quite a few, because the right way to put it is that we were experimenting. So that whichever one, so we tried a bunch of them, and then after doing the test, my mum would ask me which one she thought was very useful. So part of the 11 plus, it had this giant word section bit, where basically they had a bunch of words, and you just needed to find the opposite, the antonym of it, the synonym, and a bunch of other things, but I think those are the main 2. And I found very useful Learning Street. I don't know if you guys have used it before, but it's basically, they have more than one thing, but I use the verbal reasoning one, and that's the one that Bestley's using right now. And basically, it's just a website where you go on to. I think you have to pay for it. I'm not very sure, because my mom was the one who did all of the things around that. But you basically go onto the site, you log in, and it'll basically have a bunch of questions and answers to the questions. And it'll basically, okay, I think the best way to say it is that it gives you days to do it. It's not very much like well. It's sort of like it, but the questions will stay. So you basically got 10 days, not to do it all, but it's got 10 questions, 10 packs. That's right.
So what did
And
you say that is? Sorry, sorry to cut you. What resource did you say? Do you want to type it out in the chat so they can, just in case they,
it's called Learning Street.
you could type it out. Oh, Learning Street. Okay.
Yeah, that.
Okay. All right. Thank
And I found it very useful as it basically gives you the similar things that the 11 plus did. A lot of the words I found that were in the 11 plus, and I was quite surprised because they made it a lot easier. And another resource I used was CGP, the practice tests in there. I don't know how many they have, but I think the only one that was gotten for me and the one that Bessie's also using is the 4 packs 1 to 4. I found them very useful as when you learn something on Learning Street, when you go to just make sure that you've still got it and you can do it, basically know it on top of your head, you can go onto there and it will basically just go through what you've learned in Learning Street, and yeah, it basically doesn't do the exact same things as Learning Street, but it's just tests basically.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Another thing I'd also used, was Bond. Bond, I found it useful in every area, as it had basically everything that the 11 plus had. It didn't have all the questions. It had a lot of similarities though. It didn't have like every single question was there, but it basically helps you go through it, and I use Bond the majority of the time. Learning Street and the practice paper test came a bit later after I started using Bond. Honestly, I found that Bond was very useful as it basically showed you things in all areas. That includes math, English, comprehension, nonverbal reasoning, and math and nonverbal reasoning, English and comprehension, CEP, I think it was, CEM. And I think that was very good. And also, as well as that, it also does mock tests, which I did not know until after a few months of using it. And I feel like the mock tests are even better as it times you. I think it gives you around 50 to 45 minutes to do it. And the questions aren't unreasonable. I think the best way to put it, it's a reasonable amount of questions, but at the same time, it also gives you just enough time. It doesn't give you one minute for each question. It kind of gives you a bit more time than that, just to make sure that you can have a sort of enough time. Because some of the questions there were hard. To admit, when I did my first mock test, I did it on the hardest thing, which, well, for me, was nonverbal reasoning and math together. For me, I found that very difficult as I had not learned it in school. So I was just a bit confused on what to do. But then after doing it for some time, I started to understand how to do it. And the thing is, I also will show you percentages of what it should be aiming towards, and if you're not doing something you should be doing. If you get towards 10 and equals 30, it will show red, meaning that maybe you should try and look more in the areas that you're in the areas. This is especially for the mock test. It will basically give you a bit where it basically says which areas you did well in and which areas you might want to improve on. And it'll also show with the link to which bit to go to.
Okay.
I found that very useful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Any more questions before we allow Ada go do her?
What was the other site that you used with Learning Street and Bond?
It wasn't a site, it was books I used. It's not books, it was just like a pack of tests. I think you can do it online. I've not really gone on there recently, but I know that I use books.
50-50.
I don't know.
Okay. Even up till the time you get into the exam, or you're still thinking, okay, what's the formula of this? Until you write the exam, then yeah, you'll be relaxed. So yeah, like she said, all you need to do is just do your best and leave the rest. Do your best, do what you can do, and this is the time you can read and practice, and you only have one chance to do it.
And yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your time. All right, I will let you go now to carry on with your busy schedule. Thank you very much. All right, bye.
Yeah, good luck.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, bye.